There are some things right now happening with Tesla that just prove it's going to be an absolute massive beast. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. But you guys come here for the truth, and unfortunately, this game changer is not all it's cracked up to be at all. There is a dark secret about all this that you must understand, and we're going to have our special guest Tesla expert on to give you his take on all this as well. I just ask that you gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. Now, yes, guys, this isn't all roses and sunshine, and I know it's going to get me blasted down in the comments, and honestly, I'm okay with it. When Tesla was at 400 and I said it was overpriced, I got blasted, and that's okay. I understand being excited about this stock, being excited about the future, being excited on everything that's going on there, but I'm also realistic as well, and having been, investing in stocks for over 20 plus years, there are just times when, unfortunately, the truth kind of hurts, even though we don't like it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the stock. I own the stock. I owned it back then, but overvalued is overvalued. And don't worry, a lot of those same people also crushed me whenever I said Elon flushing the toilet is not a catalyst for the stock. And I'm sure our special guest probably isn't going to agree with most of what I say either, and that's okay. That's kind of the beauty of the stock market, is we can both love a stock. We can all have different takes, different opinions, and still all win in the end, and that's what I love about investing. So first off, let's look at what has everybody excited, and rightfully so. I mean, look, we have Legacy Auto deciding to use Tesla chargers. And then even EV competitors have joined the party as well. We're, basically using Tesla's charging network as well. And it looks like others are also looking to join in addition to those. And Texas is the first of many states that I'm sure are going to require the Tesla plug to be on their charging stations as well. So this is all great news, guys. There's no doubt about it. I'm not denying that. There's just no question about it. This is awesome. And no, I don't care about any of the naysayers out there saying, oh man, Tesla chargers are just going to have massive lines and it's just going to go, it's just going to be impossible. Now Tesla owners aren't going to want to charge a Tesla, or any of the other narratives that are out there like that. I really don't care about any of that. It's not a concern to me. That's going to get solved. My bigger problem is this is a huge catalyst for the stock in the future. But right now, it means virtually nothing. And let me explain the rationale down below before you start blasting me. Let me at least get the explanation all the way out. Then, feel free to unload on me down in the comments. But I want you guys to kind of tell me how many GMs, Fords, Rivians, future Hyundais, how many of those vehicles are actually out there, actually being used, and would actually have a need for the supercharger at this station, at this point in time in their history? And the answer is there's not a whole lot out there. The vast majority of the EVs out there are Teslas in the first place. So this isn't this massive catalyst. Now, long term, it's huge, absolutely massive, but I'm not real sure this is going to add billions to the bottom line right now, next quarter, or, even next year even. I just don't see it being that big of a deal to the actual bottom line. Again, future state, 100% agree, but in the current state, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Wall Street isn't going to care about the fact that you can project out 5 years from now, this Tesla charging network is going to create, so much money for Tesla. Cool, might very well be true, might get there, we might not. But in regards to the next earnings call, they're going to be much more concerned with Tesla cutting the price of those vehicles and those margins actually going down, and how are they going to improve those margins, or what's the cash burn on the ramp, for Cybertruck, or a lot of the other 9,000 different projects that Tesla has going on, than they are about this particular item in the future maybe providing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of revenue. It's just not going to matter right now, so I'm not that excited about it if we're all being perfectly honest. You guys have to remember, Wall Street does not care. Yes, they are future looking, but they're future looking 6 months maybe, if we're lucky. That's the best that we get out of those guys. They do not care about something that is, years into the future in regards to revenue generation. They just don't. That's the sad and unfortunate fact. Now for me, this is awesome. This is absolutely why I invest in Tesla, because I see a long game playing out here, and I'm willing to look on a much longer time horizon to understand the bigger game that's going on. But I am not foolish enough to think that short term, Tesla is going to be rewarded for this particular shift and everybody kind of giving up on whatever the heck they were working on and deciding to jump over to Tesla instead. Again, it's a sweet, totally awesome long-term catalyst, but it's not an actual catalyst for the stock right now today. Now, absolutely, traders are going to trade the news, right? But it doesn't mean that when that next earnings call comes, if that EPS number is a miss or that revenue number is a little bit slow or whatever the case is, that is going to be the focus, and this will be a long forgotten footnote by anybody who's moving the stock. So we got to kind of keep that in mind, regardless of where our personal feelings are on Tesla, regardless of whether we all agree, and I think we all do, this is great long-term for Tesla. but we got to wait until we get there, at least closer to there, before we actually count on that revenue, because the rest of the automakers are so far behind, right? We can't have both the bullish, theory on Tesla that they're dominating, they're crushing everyone, they're putting out more EVs than everyone, which is 100% true. But then when something like this comes to where now they're going to be forced to use Tesla chargers, or they will be able to use Tesla chargers, okay, that's great, except for they hadn't been producing vehicles. So it doesn't provide a lot of money to Tesla right now. Now, if they ever fully make the move and everybody moves to EVs over the long term, you can see how that plays out. But that's a multi-decade play out, not something you can trade in the next few months beyond just the initial trade on the bump on the news. So when I'm kind of looking at this in terms of my excitement level, high, but it's high for the long term, not for the short term there, guys. So you got to kind of keep that in mind and kind of cage those expectations. Remember, Elon flushing the toilet is not a catalyst. I know it held true in 2020, 2021, but this is, normal markets now, and it's not going to hold true in an environment like this. But, to give kind of the counter perspective here, let's bring in our resident Tesla expert, the Tesla Bull.
And don't worry, a lot of those same people also crushed me whenever I said Elon flushing the toilet is not a catalyst for the stock.
This has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, give me a test right now. I just lost 475 IQ points watching this trash. And yes, I know there aren't 475 points in a test. That just shows you how dumb Luke just made me. Let me put this whole charger thing into perspective for you, Luke, because you clearly don't get it. If your imaginary girlfriend decided to ride the bull ride every night and pay me for the privilege because you aren't getting the job done, that's called revenue, which is part of earnings, you genius. So get your money ready, Luke, because your imaginary girlfriend's going to be in line asking for a lifetime pass for the ride. Just like Ford and GM and Rivian and everybody else will be lining up for a lifetime pass for Tesla chargers, which means Tesla is worth $1 quadrillion per share because I'm the Tesla Bull. I'm the Tesla Bull. I'm the Tesla Bull.